Hello and welcome. This is Alieska, and today we will be checking out a game that was just recently launched, Crossing Void Global, a turn-based anime-style gacha with characters from the many animes of Dengeki Bunko. But first, we are going to do some FGO news. For the new event coming up, the Christmas Rerun event, featuring the kawaii Santa Jailter Lily. We will do a walkthrough of the event details, a guide to the farming, an analysis of our new welfare cutie, and also of Ishtar Archer. So, let us dive right in. Here's a little segment from everyone's favorite Bad Civ, Neil, from the Nasuverse server. Neil says the following. It is a sad Noel that comes upon us where we must have the adorable lolly trio of Jailter Lily, Nursery Rhyme, and where we must... Sorry, Neil, let me try again. It is a sad Noel that comes upon us where we must save the adorable lolly trio of Jailter Lily, Nursery Rhyme, and Jack the Ripper. Can you help them find their way to the ocean? Will Jailter Lily ever find out what it means to be a good Santa? Will we get more mask-wearing disguised freaks thinking that mask does anything to hide their identity? Find out this and more on the next episode of FGO. And so we begin the Little Santa Altar Revival Lite, a rerun of last year's Christmas event starring Jeanne d'Arc Altar Santa Lily. She will join our Chaldea temporarily at the beginning of the event. To have her permanently, Masters must finish the event quest line and get some items, but this is all easily done by Masters of any level. We will be talking about that little cutie a little more later. As usual, you must have cleared the first singularity to participate. So first up, the main quest line. A new main quest unlocks each day, so it's everybody's favorite, the gated unlocks of main quests. The first two quests will be available the first day, and there are 7 main story quests in total. So the last main quest will become available on November 17th. I just want to say right now, all these dates could change because there is a huge, long, extended maintenance going on. So if it extends too much longer, some of these dates could change that I talk about in this little briefing, so keep that in mind. But as of right now, the last main quest is scheduled to become available on November 17th. Next, we're going to talk about the farmable items. And we're going to talk about everyone's favorite activity, farming. So here's a little farming guide for this year's Christmas Rerun event. The farmable items that we're going to have are Miracle Stockings, which you see here on the left, which are used to purchase spins on the lotto. For shop clearing currency, we have cakes, you see on the right here. And from left to right on this image, we have fruitcakes, which is the gold currency, shortcakes, which is the silver currency, and cheesecake, which is the bronze currency. I will talk about the contents of the roulette and shops later, but first let's go over how to best get these currencies. First, we're going to talk about our servants. Got to scroll down a little bit here. Okay, here we are. So for this event, tons of servants will give bonuses to currency drops. So make sure you have appropriate ones in your party and in your support list. Even low-level, non-developed servants can be useful in the back line to increase your drops. So for the gold currency, fruitcake, the following servants increase the drop rates. Are Cutie Kawaii Welfare Christmas Jailter Lily, Ishtar Archer, and Amakusa. For the silver currency of shortcake, the servants of Jack, Jailter, Nursery Rhyme, Martha, Ryder, Emiya Archer, Altria Santa Alter, and John will increase those drops. And last but not least, for the bronze currency cheesecake, the servants that are going to increase our drops there are Mash, Kid Gil, Kotaro, Ushiwakamaru, Cursed Arm, Castergillus, Jinkei, Leonidas, Asterios, Matahari, and Tawara Tota. So, we have a huge all-star cast, tons of different servants you can use for bonuses, so get using them, use your favorites. It's a lot of fun when they have a lot of servants involved. So next up, event CEs. We're going to talk about a couple of the drop bonus CEs. First up, we have the event 5-star CE Holy Night Supper. This will increase drop rates for Miracle Stockings, which is our lotto currency. 4 of these CEs will be purchasable from the event shop. They will also have a possibility to drop, if you're lucky, when completing event nodes. Buying these from the shop should be your #1 priority. This is a really great CE for use outside of the event as well. We're going to talk about that a little bit more later. So definitely worth picking up enough to MLB at least one of these. We have 3 gacha CEs that are also going to increase drops. For gold currency, fruitcake, we have the 5-star CE, A Moment of Tranquility. For silver currency, our shortcake, we have the 4-star CE, Reading on the Holy Night. And for our copper currency cheesecake, we have our 3-star CE, Saint's Invitation. Because we have so many drop servants, the gacha CEs aren't going to be quite as important. Also, because it's a rerun, a lot of people will already have some of these CEs, so they'll be a little bit easier to find on your support list as well. So the next question is always, where the heck do I farm? So one of the annoying things about this event is that it has more time-gated nodes, and especially of the best currency farming nodes. The best currency nodes release only a bit later, so masters may find themselves farming less efficient nodes to reach their goals. So here's the basic guide of how and when to farm the currencies. So of course, make sure you clear all of the free quests once. Until the Powder Snow difficulty quest opens on November 13th, you're going to want to farm cheesecakes from the 10 AP node. If you finish cheesecakes, then you can move on to the 20 AP node for fruitcakes. Otherwise, you're waiting for the 40 AP powder node release, which will happen on the 13th. There you're going to farm cheesecakes until all of the shop cheesecakes that you want are acquired. On November 15th, the 40 AP Snowflakes free quest unlocks, and that's going to be your go-to place for your gold fruitcake currency and silver shortcake currency. Try to balance your currency bonuses so that you finish both of the currencies at the same time. For this event, there's not going to be one node for silver and one node for gold. This is the node for both, so you kind of want to finish at the same time. You don't want to get like completely done with gold and then have all your silver, because you're going to be in the same spot and you're just going to have a ton of extra gold currency. So plan that out, balance accordingly. Last but not least, on November 17th, the 40 AP Blizzard quest will open up, and this is the place to spend stockings, get stockings, so you're going to be there for the rest of the event. Move here after you've gotten all of the other currency needs first, because those other currency nodes also drop stockings. So come here after you have all those, and then you're just going to be here until you're done with the lotto. Remember, there's only 10 lotto boxes. This is not a degen free-for-all unlimited lotto. Okay, so back to this, and we're going to head down and look at what is actually in our lotto and our shop. So here we kind of have some of the lotto. There's not a really good image of it, so I'm just going to put it here and just kind of tell you. So like I said, unlike the degeneracy farm of the first run, there will be a limit of 10 lotto boxes, so save your insanity for the main Christmas event coming up. The lotto item highlights are, we're going to have 4 Gilda Ray dolls, which are Christmas Jailter Lily's Ascension material, a silver exchange ticket, which will add her permanently to your Chaldea, Bouche de Noël, which is an item that is going to give you extra copies of our welfare to increase her NP level. Some of the enhancement items in the lotto are octuplet crystals, serpent jewels, void dust, and everyone's favorite, what I've been looking forward to, owns. There's also going to be skill gems of all shapes and sizes, embers, apples, mana prisms, friend points, and this is a really good source of QP as well. A smorgasbord of goodies. There's a reason Lotto events are so popular and looked forward to, so get in there, clear out that shop, and enjoy the rewards. Now we're going to do some of the shop items. Somewhere. There it is. I think that's actually where I was anyway. But like I said, there's no good images here anyway. So the the shop items. You can pretty much check this out for yourself. I'm just going to talk about some of the highlights. So your first priority, like I said earlier, really should be that CE Holy Night Supper. Get those first, get those on your servants. You can also get from the shop extra copies of your Christmas Jailter Lily for increasing her NP. There's going to be 4-star foos, hearts. Everybody needs hearts, so get your hearts. There's going to be phoenix feathers, shells, seeds, and proofs. So those are some of the highlights, at least for me. Check it out yourself. Make sure you're getting what you need. Okay, I am going to do a quick recap here on just exactly what you need to do to get your kawaii Christmas Jailter Lily, also known as Jailter. So, a recap. 1, she temporarily joins at the start. 2, you need to finish the main quests and clear Lotto Box 5 to get the exchange ticket to add her permanently. You need to clear the first 4 Lotto boxes, which you'll do anyway, to get the Guild Ray dolls for her Ascension items. And then finally, you use the Bouche de Noël you also get from the Lotto to buy extra copies of her from the shop to raise her NP level all the way. So that's how you get her maxed out. There's also going to be, show you here, a high challenge quest that will be available to masters that have cleared the final singularity and after they clear the last main quest. I'm not going to talk about details of this now, but I'll likely talk about it later, and I'll probably stream myself actually trying to do this quest. So check back if you're interested in that. Next up, we are going to talk about our kawaii cutie, Jailter herself. So our friend Tal from the Nasuverse server has once again kindly given us some of his expert analysis. So we will do our segment of Tal tells us how it is with Jailter. Tal says, the welfare of this year's Christmas rerun, the Dragon Witch Jeanne d'Arc altar, also known as Santa Lily or Jailter, is up to no good as a small but feisty AoE buster lancer. Like her predecessor, Santa Altar, Smolter shines the most when employed as an off support or farmer, thanks in part to her NP battery and massive buster effectiveness. She even proves to be a surprisingly resilient servant, when active and passive skills combined, granting her an impressively high debuff resistance that allows her to shrug off many debilitating effects. Yet for all her strengths, she is not without her demerits. The short duration of her offensive buffs and lack of variety, meaning once her mana burst is used and her NP is fired off, Santa Lily can find herself struggling to contribute to a party for damage. Even so, Jailter Lily remains a cute servant and an invaluable welfare due to being an AoE lancer with a battery, Jailter beaten in use only by Karna, who outdamages her even at NP1, and also Lartoria, due to a 50% battery and party support. Her skills are Saint's Gift C, Self-Upheaval A, and Ephemeral Dream EX. Her first skill, like that of her predecessor that acts as a targeted heal, restoring a moderate amount of HP, while also granting them a 3-turn buff to increase their critical star generation by 30%. Her second skill, which comes at a static 20% NP battery, ranks in this skill, giving her a 3-turn debuff resistance that starts off at 20% and scales all the way up to 50%. which, paired with her passive debuff resistance, can give Smolter an impressive 71% debuff resistance for 3 turns. Her third and final skill grants Jailter one of the highest multiplier mana bursts in the game, on top of a 1-turn self-invincibility. It is not without drawbacks, however, like her edgier counterpart, dealing 1200 damage to herself and coming on a 6-turn cooldown at max rank, making it a skill to use with careful consideration or when strictly farming, when the CD or demerit might not come up. Her NP is quite straightforward, a simple AoE buster that reduces the debuff resistance of enemies by 10% and grants her allies increased attack and healing effectiveness for just 1 turn, making both the debuff and buff difficult to use with her allies. Yet for the purposes of farming and clearing waves will serve most people admirably. Paired with a K-scope, she can fire her NP off for quick wave clears and farming. Thanks for the analysis, Tal. Because it is cute and I love it, I'm going to play.
聖なる夜、素敵で無敵な奇跡の一瞬。ラ・グラスティーユ・ノエル。シャンシャンシャン、シャンシャンシャン。シャンシャンシャン、シャンシャンシャン。
And that was her NP. Alright, moving on. Gonna head back up here, change our screen a little bit. We have the new summon banner. So we get the return of everyone's favorite rin-faced archer, Ishtar, on the 2018 Christmas summon banner. Tal has also given us an analysis of Ishtar. So we will do another Tal tells us how it is for Ishtar. Here we are. Ishtar Inanna, the goddess of Venus, of love and war, and of Sun and Dere, Ishtar is a strong AoE buster archer with a kit that is as aggressive and fickle as the goddess of Sun's personality. Her NP is a high damaging AoE that is matched in damage only by the King of Heroes himself against non-servant fights, at least until her NP interlude in 2 years, when Ishtar receives a buff that allows the Queen of Heaven to soar above her competition. Ishtar is an incredibly strong farmer who can not only function as a crit archer, but also share the love by buffing her allies as well. And for as offense-heavy as her kit may seem, Ishtar's butt is not nearly so defenseless as you might be led to believe. With a chance invincibility tied to a massive NP battery, a high HP value for SSR archers, and bearing a high innate debuff resistance from her passives. Ishtar is not without her faults, however, even with all she has going for her. With only 1 quick card, 1 hit on her buster cards, and no innate star absorption, Ishtar will struggle to generate the stars necessary to fuel her crit game on her own. Ishtar's 3 skills are Manifestation of Beauty rank B, Gleaming Brilliant Crown rank A, and Mana Burst Jewels rank A+. Her first skill is a party-wide attack and crit damage buff for 20% at max rank, lasting for 3 turns and on a 5-turn cooldown. Her second skill and her star attraction is an NP battery that grants Ishtar a 50% NP charge, while also possessing an 80% chance for invincibility or invulnerability pierce for 1 turn, allowing Ishtar the chance to stay safe when she needs to, while punishing those who scorn her. Her third and final skill is a unique take on mana bursts, manifesting as a 1-turn delayed buff that when triggered grants Ishtar a 50% attack up for 1 turn. With a cooldown of 3 turns at max rank, the skill can be used fairly often to help offset the awkwardness and timing this potent offensive buff. Her passives are far more straightforward than her active skills, Magic Resistance A and Goddess's Essence B granting her a large 44.5% increase to her debuff resistance, her passives further enhancing her crit potential, with Independent Action A giving her an extra 10% crit damage. Finally, we come to Ishtar's Noble Phantasm, Angal Ta Kigal Se A++. I have no idea if I pronounced that right. An incredibly powerful AoE buster noble phantasm that comes packing a built-in buster effectiveness that scales off of overcharge. Ishtar's NP and 50% NP battery makes her an invaluable farmer that can fire off her NP in consecutive rounds with the right combination of CE and supports, while dealing heavy damage to all enemies. While on release her damage against non-servants is comparable to that of Gilgamesh, post-NP interlude she becomes a powerhouse that forces all to acknowledge her strength, particularly when paired with the SSR CE known as Black Grail, capable of improving Ishtar's already respectable damage to insane levels. Her NP is not without its faults, however, as missing the timing with her third skill, or follow-up NPs, while it is on cooldown, can leave her damage feeling lackluster, even with a built-in buster effectiveness. Yet when it comes to farming, there is little this goddess leaves wanting, and little can survive a buster chain from this goddess of soon. Thanks for that, Tal. Always appreciate your analysis. Last but not least, we are going to talk about our CEs a little bit, and our favorite Bad Civ announcer Neil has some comments on the CEs for this event. Neil says, I will say though, that both the 5-star and 4-star CEs are among the best of their kind and have high utility, one giving 15% to arts and quick and NP gain when MLB, and the other giving 20% NP gain and 20% NP damage, which is quite amazing. However, as I was saying, Cs are not as big a deal this event, and we will be getting servants that boost item drops. There is a good spread for this year as well, so you should have at least one servant for each mat, even as a non-whale. That was for the Gacha CEs. As far as the welfare CE, Neil says, this CE is one of the best welfare 5-star CEs we get in this game. It is on the level of Golden Sumo as a 50% battery CE with extra effects. Where Sumo gives a flat 15% attack buff, which is amazing, Holy Night Supper gives the servant a 15% buff to critical damage and a 15% buff to NP damage upon MLB. So get you one. Besides, who doesn't like drunk Jailter? So that is it for our news. And what I would like to leave us with, if I can find it, is a little of this.
走れソリよ風のように月見原をパドルパドル走れソリよ風のように月見原をパドルパドル走れソリよ風のように月見原をパドルパドル
Alright, enough of that. Have a merry, very, very merry Christmas rerun event. And that is it for that.